Hello and greetings, everyone. I am Snowbear.
And I'm here.
So yeah, we had a match today. This is the first match of the Pokemon Crystal Full Item Randomizer tournament. Um, it's like we're gonna start the race just momentarily. So anyway, so if you're joining, this is Pokemon Crystal. But it's a little bit different from the Cinco Bingo. So not only are we having uh, the all the Pokemon moves randomized, we also have all the items. Well, specifically, all the key items on NPCs, and items on the ground, not hidden items or fairy trees. So our goal for our racers is to defeat the game, which is defeating Red and Mount Silver. So to access Mount Silver, you'll need 16 badges, you need 3 Pokegear parts, Pokegear Radio expansion card, a way to access Kanto, and a way to access, well, specifically West Kanto. So you'll need either Cut or Waterfall and Surf. And beyond that, you'll need any key items to get all the items they need.
You also need to be able to beat Red. Don't forget that, Snowbear.
Well, beating Red is the main objective, yes. So our races are off. Alright.
That's the TM to start with.
I didn't even. Oh, interesting. Not a great TM. So one of the other things is we are starting with the bike. This is one of the key things because it'll help us go really fast. It'll help since we're going to be traversing the world many times over.
Right, we're going to look at the starters we have for this run now.
Tangela, Venonat, and Pinsir. I think both of our runners will take Pinsir. Easy choice.
Pinsir.
No problem. I didn't catch what they set their day or time to.
I think Horse set Monday.
Oh, that's Horse's signature thing. He's gonna have to be careful though, actually, because setting to Monday can be dangerous.
Yeah,
because if you defeat Route 4 before going to
there's a very small
4.
chance that if Horse isn't careful, he could end up doing Rydell 7.
Well, that's what I was gonna.
They got a Great Ball as well, Stover, so it looks like they might be able to catch a Pokemon on the first route.
Yes, that's what I was saying, is that there's a chance of Rival 7, which is an extra rival fight. They both chose daytime, so they're not going to have the higher level encounters in Mount Silver, a couple other places, but it looks like it hardly matters.
So it looks like the pass is really early in this seed, so it looks like we'll be able to go to Kanto really early on.
Yes. So, the pass is great because with the bicycle they can go into Cycling Road and get up to level 33 mains. So that's definitely one of the interesting things. But definitely having a Great Ball early on makes it interesting because you can check out Pokemon on the first route, which you normally do. Sorry. So, this has been like a much quicker start than...
Yeah, this is a very fast start. I think there's going to be a key question that we're probably going to see is what our runners are going to do. Because, so, if they want, they could technically just sort of try to blitz straight through Violet City. In the item randomizer for Pokemon Crystal, the Cut Tree and Ilex Horse is removed, so they could actually just entirely skip Azalea and go straight to Kanto if they wanted.
Yeah, which I don't think it would be a bad idea, and it's nice that they had Pinsir has Dig. It means our runners will not have to buy escape ropes except for one. There is still one needed for the escape rope chamber in Runes of Elf. It was interesting that Horse bought I think like 11 or I guess they all, because they're rich, they sold a bunch of items already, and it looks like they've both found the stuff.
Rising Badge.
Now the question
do they go back? So
Horse should go. Oh, Horse is not going backwards. So if he came back,
to explain, there's in Vanilla Crystal, you get a Master Ball from Professor Elm when you get the 8th badge, which is the Rising badge. And the Randomizer, that happens whenever you get the Rising badge, which is right now. So technically, our racers could actually turn around right now if they want to get a check.
In fact, turning around right now would save them fighting Rival 1.
Yes.
It is definitely a case for repelling straight through. Especially if you have a good main, or you think it's workable enough to defeat Faulkner. In this case, I would have contemplated it. It's interesting to me that Woongi is actually saving here before checking Elm, because if they get the red scale, you're gonna have to get that Mr. Pokemon's item anyways here.
It's true, but if he doesn't, have to ever do it, then he can just reset, and he won't have to. That means that he won't have to potentially fight Rival 1 if he comes back, because the trigger that sets up Rival 1 is talking to Mr. Pokemon.
Yeah, talking to Mr. Pokemon also sets your center point to Cherry Grove as well, which is kind of an interesting situation.
I didn't actually know that.
Yes. But it looks like both of them have caught a Typhlosion and a Houndoom. I don't think they're either super satisfied with the pincer, but it'll be good enough. It seems like Woongi's already reset away. He's looking for another Pokemon. Not sure I agree with checking this route much more, but when there are higher levels, or especially knowing that you need to get something more, but I mean, it'll work out. Either way, Horse has kind of pushed through and continuing with the pincer.
The pincer is definitely rewarding as well. That's Megahorn is the strongest bug move in the game, and it's 120 power actually. That's
but I think he taught over
Dig. Pincer can get. Did he?
Or he taught over Wing Attack. He taught over one
surprising.
of the. Yeah, I think honestly, Garth, look, I would. Knowing you're gonna main switch in Kanto, I would just find the pincer was good enough to get working, so I would have kind of pushed off. So Horse finds in Dark Cave the Glacier Badge. So this is actually out of logic. The randomizer will not force you to go into the dark without having Flash and Flash and Zephyr Badge first, but you know, it's such an easy item, it'll be really good to see. And
Glacier Badge is the badge that unlocks Whirlpool, so that means that we know that those checks will be locked behind Flash. And we also just saw Horse find Fly, which is very important since that's one of the sort of the best movement options that we get in this game.
Yeah. The Glacier Badge is also really interesting because Glacier Badge is the badge that boosts your special attack, or your special in general, which is both special attack and defense. In this case, I believe. And we have Rising Badge, so we don't have to worry about trade mains if you were to do that. Woongi is also gone the Glacier Badge. Some racers may not be able to remember, like, kind of, you know, which items are necessarily locked behind which logic. Because this is so early on, it wouldn't be too far to kind of think about it going on. And that's Zapdos.
Yeah. Zapdos is a very, very good Pokemon to run. So this pincer is actually quite good considering it's gotten Megahorn. Like, that definitely seems like a runnable pincer to me.
I mean, I think both are good choices. This Zapdos has Aurora Beam Low Kick, which is a good enough moveset. And it's not too far behind. So there's always the things to do. I do think as much as I love running Zapdos, I still think I prefer Horse's approach, which was just kind of forcing the pincer, because honestly, I wouldn't get too attached to any single Pokemon. The one downside with running Zapdos, even though it is a superior Pokemon, is that it is, because it's legendary Pokemon, it has reduced, it has a slower EXP curve gain. So it's gonna take longer to level up, which matters a lot more in the early game because you are gonna be getting levels a lot slower.
Yeah, and
And so
also
we
with
have a
yeah,
sorry, go on.
and also with Megahorn. I mean, this pincer. I would question whether Horse is even going to do a main switch in Kanto with this pincer. I mean, like Wing Attack and Megahorn is a very solid
It's
moveset.
gonna be a 10 level gain, so I don't think it'd be very hard pressed to necessarily keep it, but you know, there's definitely cases. On the other hand, Woongi is doing the escape rope chamber first, which is a very good idea, considering sometimes you get Squirt Bottle very early, so it always can do that kind of thing. While, in this case, Horse is going up to the tower, and Sage Lee is
As a
no
Mewtwo.
joke today. But luckily,
Yeah,
Megahorn Pincer exists.
yeah. Mewtwo's always a very scary Pokemon to see in this because it is the strongest Pokemon in Gen 2. But Pinsir conveniently has a stab on bug moves, which is conveniently super effective against it.
So I definitely did not catch the rest of that fight, but it seemed like Horse was able to make it through with not too.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was
difficulty.
too much an issue. It looked like something made him switch out, but I also didn't quite catch what it was.
We've kind of reduced the items that are necessary. So as much as the on the normal tracker item finders around, that's not something we're going to keep track of today.
It looks like Horse is coming up on Faulkner.
Yeah, so this is the one benefit. So everyone's coming a little bit differently, but it looks like Woongi's more determined to kind of push through. Although I guess Woongi's back in. Oh, I thought Woongi was trying the gym, so that was my bad. He is.
No, he's finishing up Sprout.
Yeah, he's doing Sprout first, which is generally a good idea.
I mean, he spent more time than Horse looking for a main, so
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a little bit different kind of philosophies, and I think it shows a little bit of a difference of experience. So while Horse hasn't played as much with Full Item Randomizer, he's definitely a lot more experienced with bingos and the like. So I think that's where his common choice with the mains has come into play, where he's more likely to take something that's more easily kind of overlooked than other people.
yeah, because some people might not think of Pinsir as sort of a good Pokemon, but it actually has a very high base attack stat.
Oh shoot. Do we not have Rock Smash in the tracker? Huh. I guess we don't have Rocks. Oh no, it is on the tracker.
It's on the tracker's cover.
Yeah. Someone said it wasn't. I was like, I thought I did. But yeah, the Waterstone we don't have in the tracker because it's just a simple buy. It's there on the emo tracker to remind people about the Waterstone Chamber.
Yeah.
So
it's true that Horse is a fairly, does obviously is a very experienced bingo player. He was also the runner-up player in the Kyoto Rando tournament that occurred.
Oh, absolutely. He demolished me in our matches. Oh my goodness.
He's getting some very bad luck on the Elder.
I did not see what froze him, but that is very unfortunate. Well, I didn't see what move he used to freeze.
It was Powder Snow.
Oh.
It could be worse.
Powder Snow Cheese. I think Woongi would have been fine with that, but I think he didn't kind of settle onto it initially. So the big problem here is you see that Horse was, I think, close to level 10 at the point of fighting the Mewtwo, so whereas the Zapdos is only level 8. So in this level, besides the fact that Mewtwo has a super effective move, I think the level difference actually came into play a little bit more as well.
Well, Zapdos is a lot bulkier than Pinsir, though.
Correct. But he shouldn't. Hopefully, he doesn't have too much issue with the rest of the fight.
He probably shouldn't, unless something's got like. I mean, Ice Beam. Like, well, it's Ladian. Ladian can't really do dangerous things. At least not in this game.
Not necessarily. Anyways, but you saw a horse pick up the egg in the center because in order to pass through here, since we don't have the squirt bottle, the Miracle Seed guy will not let you through until you've defeated Faulkner and picked up the egg. So, but he still has an item as well that you can only get once that's in that state, and that's the miracle. Normally would be the Miracle Seed, which requires the Zephyr badge. So there's all sorts of little small things that full item really covers that it's harder to get a grasp of just playing bingo because there's so many new and other things to do.
Yeah, it also looks like there's an Aeroblast team as well. It looks like Horse just picked it up.
Yeah. So here's another kind of thing, is always a gamble. So when you pick up these good TMs, it's really tempting to use them right away, but at the same time, you never know when you're going to be main switching. So when we have these kind of big good TMs, the question is, do you hold on to it for when you're going to be main switching or later, or do you use it now? And sometimes you never know when you are going to be main switching, so it's always good to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. I, for example, have found myself tending to hold on to good moves for way too long when I just need to teach something to help get through the game a little bit easier. But I'm also a lot more willing to teach the mediocre TMs that I know aren't going to be super useful.
Yeah, and it looks. Yeah, and I mean, I think minimum. Oh, that's a. So Horse is skipping Azalea.
Yes, he looks. He's probably beelining it to Kanto, which is, I think, a generally good idea. Triggering Kurt so that he can come back later, but especially when you have one piece of fly package, it's actually not a bad idea to go do this.
Right.
I mean, all these are quick checks that you can do on your way to Kanto and in your main.
You say that, but what if the Storm Badge is in Azalea?
I mean, that could happen. I mean, but at this point, the odds of it being in Azalea are much smaller than it being along the way on Ilex Forest or Goldenrod, simply due to the amount of item checks that there are available.
Yeah. Still, it's an interesting decision, given that, like, I don't think Horse would have had any trouble clearing Azalea with that pincer.
Right, but I think it was. Well, we have to remember that if you do the normal full clear, you get to Goldenrod around level 20, and at the very minimal, you can get up to level 30s. Or around level 30 at the most, so even if it's a good main you have, 10 levels is a huge difference. And Horse actually surprised he sells his rare candy. Don't know if that was if he really meant to do that. Because if you catch a non-fully evolved Pokemon, oh, that's an Aurora Beam TM in the mart. Horse quickly realizes that one. And that's Rolling Kick and headbutt,
as always.
Yeah. But you're most likely going to have a non-fully evolved. So what we have is good early wilds turned on. So so as long as it's level 9 and below, the Pokemon encounters at level 9 and below, it'll always be fully evolved. Once you get to level 10 and above, you are not guaranteed a fully evolved Pokemon. We have that setting so that it's easier to get initial main up and going. But of course, once you get your main kind of set or past the first couple of routes, then it becomes more of a different issue.
Oh, interesting. So it looks like Woongi's going back to check the Rising Badge.
I like that play, although I would have liked that play made about 10 minutes ago when
It really probably would have been better about.
initially got that item.
I think he saved it. Yeah, I think he saved in Violet, so he'll probably reset back. But if this is Storm Badge, that'll be huge.
Well, yes, it could be. I found lately, whenever I get a very early Rising Badge, it usually has something important. And that's a little bit of a bias, but that's not necessarily something true, because it's a lot more out of the way to go check this. Oh, and that's Rock Smash. He is resetting it though, because even though there's Rock Smash, it would be giving him stuff out of Logic, and I guess he's not full.
Yes, because the Rock Smash, you can't actually purchase the Rock Smash TM until you actually use the Squirt Bottle to get rid of Pseudo Ludo on Route 36. And it looks like Horse has gotten the Storm Badge in Radio Tower.
Oh, he did. Oh, very good. See? My point is proven.
Yeah.
Alright, so he's got Kenya, which is really good.
Turn
that in. Please, just get it away. Just get it away. Just give it away. Just give it away. I don't want to see that on my screen. But yeah, I think I don't agree necessarily with his play, partly because, I mean, I understand he's gonna get rewarded later on, but
I mean, it's possible he may also think that he's behind a bit because he spent some time looking for a main.
Probably does feel that way. Horse is one of the faster people and more experienced, even with Crystal in general. So
yeah,
it wouldn't be too much to think that. I do like how Horse is routing currently. So. Well, that's kind of what that's allowed him to do is he's going to check the items in the national park, and then be able to get all these other items that are kind of quick and easy with the least amount of fights.
Yeah, he hasn't set Monday though, so he won't be able to try to use the bug catching contest.
I think it's actually generally slower since we have the bike because of all the cutscene. I wouldn't. I don't know if it's fast or slower, but it also could lead to a lot of crashes as well, as that's happened before to me, so I generally just don't quit out of the contest. Yeah. It's also generally faster in this point, because he does have Storm Badge Fly, so
that's true.
It's sort of a moot point.
He's just gonna fly up.
Oh, we got Zap Cannon. Let's go! We got perfect coverage. Just not the greatest moves for that, but good coverage there.
Right, it looks like
so yeah, so not many people know, but when you turn in Kenya, you get the TM, but you also get an item for returning back, which is kind of crazy. Because until I did the item randomizer, I honestly don't think I had ever gone back to the guardhouse to get that item.
Yeah,
I don't even know what it is in the vanilla game. I think it's
Horse also got cut from turning in Kenya, so he still the high badge still hasn't shown up, so he can't actually use it yet. But once he finds that, that'll open up some checks.
I find it kind of interesting though. He hasn't quite gone into Kanto yet, but
I think he might actually just be skipping Azalea and like running the pincer.
I mean,
because like it almost looks like he's about to do Whitney.
I wouldn't necessarily say he's about to do Whitney. I think he's just doing the smaller checks for the items or minimal fights. I do expect him to main switch. Because he's been holding on to those special TMs. Woongi checking the trading Pokemon. Always kind of a good meme. And doing some general item cleanup right now. And it looks like Horse is off to Kanto, as expected. It's just a little bit later, and I totally agree with that.
I mean, later is over. This is a 23-minute Kanto.
I mean, it is pretty quickly. It looks like Woongi does not recognize the Aurora Beam TM.
Well, Snowbear, the Zapdos already knows it.
Well, right, but you're assuming he's keeping the Zapdos.
I mean, I don't think he's keeping the Zapdos. Yeah, you're right. He may not recognize it.
Yeah, so the Aurora Beam TM is a very unique one. An attack that may lower an attack. It's the only one that does that in this generation. So, yeah. But either way, horses gain the quick checks. Quick TM, and there's also, in addition to the 3 of them in Goldenrod, there are 5 TMs in Celadon, which is also nice to see.
Yeah.
So a little quick thing here, sort of a kind of holdover back from Key Item Randomizer, but so Sabrina is available, but it is not considered in logic until you have 7 badges. That's sort of a holdover, but we keep it in there so you don't have to be forced to fight Sabrina supremely underleveled, because she does have high level 40 Pokemon, and the highest you can get generally, even with Surf, is about level 39. So, but with the minimum access, you get about level 30. So that's still very hard to ask for.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
and we get the
Hive
Hive
Horse.
badge. That's
This is suddenly looking very ominous. Because 2 of the gyms in Kanto are in fact blocked by the Hive badge.
well, I mean, I think there's plenty still left to do in general. I mean, Cut does lock several items. It also allows you to definitely get the other item on Route 25. So doing Nugget Hedge Maze early isn't totally unreasonable.
And if I'm not mistaken, both our racers have skipped Azalea, so
Oh yes.
we have no idea what's there.
Well, I mean, I think both of them are committed correctly to getting new main. And
Whoa.
Venusaur is a pretty good main to start with, especially since you know it's got special moves. Right there.
It's not bad. I think I might still have actually run the pincer in this situation, but...
Absolutely not. It's level 15.
Well, right, but if it had the levels from Azalea, it would be higher level.
It would be level 20. That's kind of a hard push.
It's doable.
I mean, yes, it is doable, but I think it's a little bit of a hard sell when you can get definitely decent Pokemon.
You can get decent Pokemon, but sometimes... Okay, I'm eating crow here. That's Thunderbolt Venusaur.
Yeah, I think one of the things is being an experienced runner, I've learned that level differences of 10 plus level difference is more than enough, even with the best movesets, to just give up a Pokemon to get something that's even semi-decent. Thunderbolt Venusaur is definitely good enough.
Yeah, and it's also good because Venusaur also tends to be nice because Venusaur can go mixed, so you can still use physical moves if you get them.
Yeah, although it is a little bit underwhelming on the stat side for attacks.
It is a bit underwhelming.
However,
the horse didn't even decide to check any other slots. He's just decided to go with it.
It's
so
good
he seems
enough.
satisfied.
Honestly, it's good enough. Oh wow, there's a Thunderbolt TM in the TM 18. I mean, so perfect coverage.
Almost. Well, Snubber, that raises a question of like.
You could force the Zapdos, yes.
Yeah.
I have done similar things. In this case, I honestly wouldn't super consider.
I mean, there's also an Aeroblast TM, so that's stab for both of Zapdos's attacking types.
But you also have to remember that you're severely
it's low. It's going to be low level, but I mean at the same time with like, it's a Zapdos. I mean it has very good stats.
Right.
And those are pretty much some of the strongest moves that Zapdos could get.
Yes. However, levels in this game make a huge difference. So being 10 levels down is actually very detrimental.
I think Woongi is actually more than 10 levels down because he has legendary EXP curve.
Right, which is what I'm saying is that getting from the start. The problem is that they had early access to Kanto.
Right. Yeah.
But either way, I think I definitely am liking what they've going. Getting the Hive badge, definitely a good choice.
Yeah, if I was gonna. Okay.
And Horse goes immediately back to Azalea, which is a good choice there as well, because you can get the several items there.
Yeah, this probably has the most checks of any of the locations he can do right now. Though I don't think he didn't try to do Tunnel in the Dark, right?
He did not go for Rock Tunnel in the dark. He did not go for Rock Tunnel. That's something that it's fine. I mean, honestly, while I'm one to go super out of logic, it's not necessarily always going to be rewarding.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily always rewarding, but they are if you know how to do it, they are relatively quick checks to do.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to remember that there is a level 35, although I don't think that would be a problem with this Venusaur's moveset.
Right. So Woongi sees he has that Thunderbolt TM.
Yeah. He is checking. Oh, and technically lower special defense. Very good. Buying that. Buying another T-Ball TM.
Psychic. Wow, this is.
Yeah, Psychic's pretty good. I mean, with that description, there's only 3 moves. It could be Psychic, Crunch, and Shadow Ball. And by far, Psychic is the superior one to have there.
Well, Shadow Ball is very good for physical attackers, but
I actually do not like Shadow Ball. Its coverage, it's good for physical attackers, but not really, because the biggest problem is the amount of normal types, and its coverage, because there are so many normal types, and which you want to use physical attacks on. That one, there's a large gaping hole.
Somewhere, if you have a fighting move, I believe it's perfect coverage. So
yes, I mean, yeah. So
Woongi's actually using Sweet Scent, which is a nice strat. It's a bit faster than what Horse was doing, where he was actually getting encounters by moving around.
I think with the cycling road, it's generally about equivalent, because you're gonna be forced down by the game anyways. So just kind of, I prefer doing the movement here. Dragonair trade is very interesting. And this, I would think, hey, you could trade it in Blackthorn, but considering you're not guaranteed access to Blackthorn anytime soon, raising it to level 40 for the Dragonite is, I think, the generally better call. Although you're going to be struggling a long time with just a normal Dragonair.
It would be Stab Arrow Blast on Dragonite, though.
Yes.
Which is quite strong.
But the problem is you have to get 7 levels to get there.
Yeah.
We have reduced the levels of evolutions for a lot of them. All final illusions are by level 40. Dragonair is just hard to do. So level 33 is the highest level in this patch of grass. There's a couple of slots there that are level 33. And as we talked about, it is actually slightly altered, or some of the levels or encounters are altered by day and time.
It looks like Woongi is not interested in running Scyther.
It's not worth trying to press B.
Which is understandable, because due to the things that Snowbird was just talking about, Scyther will evolve. Yes, I can read chat when commentating when I remember to look at it. But yeah, because of that, Scyther is a bit slow, because every time it levels up, it will attempt to evolve into Sizzle.
Yeah, and so there's not really an easy, convenient Everstone. Sure, you could get 2nd place in the contest, but I think that's a little bit much. I mean, I do love Scizor, and Scizor is good. Unfortunately, I think Scyther's a little bit more valuable here because it has the speed.
Woongi's decided to keep the Pikachu.
Yeah, so with regards to Kenya, you can give them the guy is only looking for a Pokemon with the male on it, specifically the male that Randy gave you. That's the gate guy's name, from what I can deduce from its setting. So as long as you don't delete the contents of the mail, the guy on Route 50, or sorry, not Route 50, Route 31 will just take the Pokemon, regardless of whether it was the Kenny or not. And it looks like Woongi is committing to the Dragonite play.
Yeah, because he decided to stop looking.
Yes. As mentioned in chat, bug catching contest is not included in this version of Logic. Anything that requires day or time, we have not randomized in this. There are options. There are definitely more options. I think there are options to randomize every single item in this game. I believe you told me the last check was actually 420. You told me there was 420 items.
There are 420 total as of adding the unknown decks. And also to answer the question that was asked in chat. Yes, there is also a warp randomizer for Crystal in development currently. I'm actually not the one working on it. Chodix is working on item rando support, and G-Meister is the one who's actually making the warp randomizer itself.
Yeah, so that's sort of in progress. We've got definitely good to look at. Definitely go check them out. But it's still very much in alpha stages at the moment. And we got the Zephyr badge.
Right next to the guy who's looking for it.
How convenient.
Yeah.
So this kind of gives a little bit more clues about where Flash is going to show up, because I would imagine probably Flash is going to show up relatively quickly.
Well, we still have Whirlpools nowhere.
Right, but this is still kind of they're not usually that far apart. I mean, they can be, but I wouldn't put it too far past it.
Yeah, I think the real question at this point is how we're going to get to North Johto, because we can get there either by finding the Squirt Bottle, which will let us go past Sudowoodo, or the SS Ticket, which will let us take the boat.
That would be actually a really good prediction. If there's a mod in there.
That's a pretty good prediction.
To put up right now, and welcome Raiders from Asasa's channel. Greetings. Thank you for coming on in. So yeah, so this is definitely our first match. We have plenty more matches to go for. This match is from Group O. We have 16 different groups. So definitely tune in for the next 3 weeks, as we're gonna have the groups. This is the initial group stages, and then once that, we'll have a single limb bracket from the top 32. So definitely keep on tuning in.
Yeah, it's like there's which choice does Horse have? I think he may just have stuff in terms of like checks that don't involve a fight. I think he may just have the item to the right of Fuchsia left.
Yeah, I mean, but Horse should be more than okay with doing the gym battles right now.
Well, yeah.
And he must have gone Fog Badge from Whitney, which is really neat.
Yeah, Fog Badge is always a very nice badge to have in this, because it's the badge that unlocks Surf, and Surf is by far the HM that locks the largest number of items in the game.
Yeah, and so we see a Horse kind of doing a little bit more item management here. He's probably going to be stocking up on X items, which is definitely going to be important for the red fight and a lot of the more difficult fights as well.
Yeah, because if he has to do it's very difficult to do the Kanto gym leaders early unless you use X items.
So he's correctly identified. Buying another copy of Thunderbolt, you never know when you'll need it. Got the Psychic TM, which is also very good. He did buy lots of repels already, so he's set in that part, and he's going shopping for X items here. So yeah, he did take a little detour. 31 X specials is a lot more than I.
And he didn't buy guard spec.
Did he find? I think.
I didn't think I. Maybe someone in chat can correct me, but I don't think I saw him buy guard spec.
Well, he didn't buy a guard spec, but he may not have it. Guard specs aren't as super important. It is nice for red to have at least one to prevent shenanigans, but it's not end all be all.
I mean, until you don't have one, and red leads a stat dropping move, and then.
Oh, I mean, just gotta go with the flow. Yeah, so not too bad of a trainer outside of Fuchsia.
Yeah. Well,
this is a lot.
Janine is going to be the real fight. I just noticed horses had exactly 6 badges right now. If he finds one more badge, that will actually trigger the event where Team Rocket invades the radio tower, which does have a check available if it happens, but it's not a check anyone here really wants to do.
Yes.
Looks like
they do not have card key.
They're right. They would only have access to false director's number.
Yes, someone was asking in the chat.
Ah. And horse should be good with this setup, unless something's like very. I think he's at +2. It's possible for Venusaur maybe to fail to kill something at +2, but it would have to be. You don't think so, Sarah?
+2 is good enough for this fight. I mean, yes, there's a Lugia, that wasn't going to be killed with any. Oh, I guess is killed with just +2.
Super effective.
Oh, Lugia is bulky, but regardless, +2 is more than enough for a fight when you're level 35. I found that I need generally 3 or so when I'm level 20, so level 30 isn't too bad. Yeah, so now Glacier Badge is in logic, of course.
I'm going to bet that progression is in Rock Tunnel right now.
Yes, that would be probably a safe bet. Looks like Woongi's kind of bypassed Janine for the moment, grabbing that item on Route 15.
He's probably hoping, because like if that was his progression out, he probably doesn't want to actually do Janine with the Dragonair, since it is a little bit weaker.
Yes. Either way, now that we have both the Zephyr Badge and Flash, all dark areas any place that's dark can still be considered logic. Although the other parts of Dark Cave are locked by Rock Smash, which is locked by getting the Squirt Bottle. So even though that Elm has the Rock Smash TM, that's still not considered in logic.
It's important to note that even if you were to do all the dark rooms without Flash, there is actually there are 4 chambers in Runes of Alph. Each of them have 4 items. One of those chambers requires you to use Flash. So
those are the only items that are strictly locked by Flash.
Yeah, those are the only items that absolutely require you to get Flash.
It's just Flash is a nice to have item. So I definitely like how Horse is just generally routing this. Very clean and efficient.
Yeah.
I think it's obviously helped by the fact that he has a good main.
Yeah, and he's just following. I mean, he's basically just following the logic of the seed.
I mean, I think that's generally a good idea to do.
Yeah, well.
And so now that does open up the power plant. I mean, just getting access to the power plant, which is very convenient because you can just keep going through.
Yeah.
So there are 2 ways of getting.
Yeah, Horse doesn't have the machine part, so he can't fix the power plant. However, going to the power plant will trigger the event where the rocket who's supposed to have stolen the machine part will drop an item in Misty's gem.
Yes. So access to the power plant is locked by either flash and surf or cut and surf. So in this case, having both of them isn't actually a big deal. Although he is digging out. I guess he wants to wait to go back there in one trip. Not sure I necessarily agree with that, but it's certainly understandable.
Looks like Horse is probably just going to clean up the surf checks right now.
Yeah, so there's a lot of surf checks here.
Well, there aren't. There's a decent number, but there are a lot of the surf checks are in the northern part of Johto. Like, there's a much larger number of surf checks there.
Yes. So it was interesting to know, though, Azalea wasn't generally strictly needed, from what I could tell. So
yeah, I don't think I saw any required items there, so it could have actually just been straight up skipped. But neither racer decided to commit to that.
I mean, I don't think there's necessarily always super neat skip places. The more you skip locations, the more likely it is to come back and bite you in the butt.
It's true.
Horse is checking now the flash chamber, which is a good call. I think seeing the progression getting flash pretty early and knowing that you got the glacier badge in Dark Cave, that you could probably know that there's going to be a lot more items that are going to be flash locked.
And the Rock Smash team in the item pool was also on Elm, as we knew because Woongi checked that. I know someone pointed that out in chat earlier, actually. So, I mean, if they want, they could actually, if someone goes back and gets that, they could actually do Dark Cave. The Horse obviously doesn't know that's there, I think.
So, this definitely paid off for Horse, getting both the Squirt Bottle, which is our North Johto access, and the Soul Badge. So, this stage was strictly flash locked.
Yep.
So now Rock Smash is in logic. To get the Rock Smash item, you do need to collect. You actually do need to get the item from the guy from Rock Smash. Otherwise, it's not going to be available in the mart. It's the same with the Headbutt and Sweet Scent TMs actually as well. But I think in this case it's not a bad call to do it. Right there.
Right, and Horse is coming up on Eckerteak, so we'll see if he's going to actually do any of like the checks there that require fights, like the Kimono Girls or Morty.
Don't say that disgusting word.
You don't like Morty, Snowbear?
He's a scam. Not required. Never required. I do like Horse's play though, going straight to Olivine though. Considering you have the secret potion, you can do all of Lighthouse in one go. So it is definitely good to do. Horse fighting the girl, I think generally it's safer to fight the guy, but because you have fly already, it doesn't matter.
It is faster to fight the girl though, because she doesn't walk.
Right, but it's so minimal of a time difference.
Yeah.
It's not gonna matter in this point because which trainer he really fights ultimately, because he does have fly, and so he's not gonna have to go backtracking. Yeah. He is flying into a line to skip the cutscene.
Yeah, this saves like 1 or 2 seconds, I think, maybe like 3. But it is actually technically faster than walking into Olivine normally.
It also preserves the spinning rivals because of how the water rivals, because of how the games processes sprites and everything. It loads the rival off screen when you initially do that. But because you don't trigger the cutscene, it converts all the the swimmer sprites into your rival. So you get to see the rivals in the water routes of Route 41 and 40. So it's kind of funny glitch to see, but I think a lot of people enjoy seeing it.
Yeah, and we'll most likely get to see it. Since Horse will probably either go to Signwood or Whirl Islands at some point in this run, is my bet.
It's interesting to know that I guess Woongi's using the dire hit makes it more likely to critical hit. So he is definitely facing Janine a little bit more uneasy than I think he would like to be, but it's working. With rocking with a mostly physical moveset from Dragonair, which is not too bad. When it involves the Dragon Knight, his attack is its highest stat.
Yeah, though I think Dragonair actually has a higher special attack, if I remember correctly.
I don't know Dragonair stats enough, I just know it's terrible.
It's not as bad as you think, if I remember right, but I believe it has a higher special attack than its attack stat.
I just generally like going special attackers. It is the easier route because there is no move that will reduce your special attack, and there is only one move that will increase special defense. So it is a generally safer stat to use and set up on. But plus the amount of Pokemon that are especially bulky is much less than the physically bulky Pokemon.
Yes, with the exception of Blissey, which is slightly vulnerable to special attacks. Horse also picked up the Mystery Egg there in Lighthouse, so he'll be able to turn that in to Professor Elm, and doing that will actually get him the check that would normally be the 5 Pokeballs, but because it's randomized by the item randomizer, it will be 5 of a random item instead.
That's always one of the most nice. That's always one of the nicer things. I appreciate when it's rare candies.
Yeah, it's always fun when it's rare candies.
Yeah, Woongi is teaching Flash to his pincer. I'm a little bit more surprised he's not putting Flash onto the flyer. Generally, we like to put Flash onto the first Pokemon in the besides your main, the first Pokemon in the party, just so it's easy access.
Strictly speaking, Stover, it's the same amount of inputs either way, so.
Well, you go down further from. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, it might be the same amount of it, but menuing it's a lot easier to press A and then do some of the down things. But it's the small preference, if anything.
I think.
Regardless, it's not going to make too big of a difference. And we'll see what Jasmine has.
Horse is actually using an X special on Jasmine, which is interesting. I think a lot of people would have just.
Well, I mean, in this case, your level is pretty similar, so just to make the fights go easier.
Yeah, it's definitely a good call.
Better to have to do one setup item. I think generally is recommended for those kind of things.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of us are going to just brute force it anyways.
Yeah, and also with the number of X specials he has no reason not to do it.
Yes.
Looks like Woongi is going to actually check the machine part item.
Definitely agree with that. Horses.
So he did just overwrite Rolling Kick on his Dragonair.
That's fine. Rolling Kick is not a great move, so.
I mean, it will be a physical move when he becomes Dragon. It would have been a physical move when he became Dragonite.
It's still not worth it compared to Surf. Surf has much better coverage, better move power, and just overall superior move. It also is 100% accurate, unlike Rolling Kick. It was noted that Horse did pick up the Silver Wing, which, if he gets the Whirlpool HM, would offer him a level 60 main switch if should he desire. So you know we'll keep that back in the mind when we do when we find Whirlpool. Generally, with the stat experience, it may not necessarily be worth switching to the 60 once you've got level about 40 plus, just because you know you'll have enough stats and you'll be level 50-ish around. Right
now, Snowbear. Right now, Horse's Ice, I believe, is still under 40, right?
Yes.
So, if he finds a Whirlpool on the sooner side, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do it. I mean, because he has that extra Thunderbolt TM as well.
There's kind of a reason to kind of still hold on to sometimes the new HM, or any good TMs, just in case. Even in the unlikely things, like once you've got your main, then you might main switch again. So as long as you've got different parts, it's not too bad. It looks like Horse is actually being rewarded for for holding off on the lighthouse, or not lighthouse, for holding off the power plant, as he's rewarded with machine parts, so he can do it all in one go.
Mm-hmm. My bet is from here he'll probably do the rocket hideout.
I mean, that's probably a strong bet, considering there's the most item. It's the densest item check location that he has available at the moment. And he doesn't have. Actually, he does have access to. He does have 7 badges. So he could access Ice Path briefly, but it would only be for 2 items in Ice Path and the 3 items on Route 44.
And Horse's egg is hatching.
And Azumarill.
Yep.
Blended. This place has always been one of the most weird areas for me, because there's so many countries for really no reason. You could just afford to have one, but it's a constant reminder of, do you have cut for 3 times?
Also, if you have headbutt back and you press A on one of the other trees by accident. So we'll be finding out what our shiny is today.
Sort of a bronze Geodude.
I actually can't tell. I actually can't even tell it's a different color.
It's more of a bronze color than normal.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that, the Master Ball. And it looks like Horse picked up the bike in the Overland world. Very good. With these settings, because we're starting with bike, it was sort of meaningless to have bike restricted in early game. So with that, it's sort of a little fun game to see where you find the bike.
Yeah. Normally, the default settings for the randomizer will instead ensure that the bike is before Goldenrod.
Or before leaving Goldenrod, but yes.
Yeah. Or yes, before leaving Goldenrod. Well, before entering Extra Ticket or leaving Goldenrod.
I think it would have been slightly faster here for Horse if he had gone the other way, fighting the cut trainers, but it's not that big of a deal to go through Arc Tunnel since you have Flash.
Yeah, I don't think there's that big of a difference in the times. This is certainly less risky because he doesn't have to dodge any spinners, though.
I mean, it's not. The spinners aren't really relevant there because it's with clean movement. It's not a hard movement to get. But nice TM reward. Not the TM that normally is given. That's Morty's TMs normally. TM07 is normally what's given, but we already got that earlier on. So it's been kind of interesting seeing kind of Horse zip around because he has a main he's very much more comfortable with, that he's able to access a lot more of the map. Whereas Woongi is sort of trying to piece together things because his main situation is a little bit more dire. Although, he should be doing okay.
Yeah, once he gets Dragonite, he will probably have I mean, once he gets Dragonite, he'll have a much stronger main, actually, than the Venusaur that Horse has. Though he has, unfortunately, just hit an optional.
So I am kind of interested that... Did Horse grab the items from Elm? Because I know he went... I don't think
he's done it yet.
Because it's kind of interesting to me that he went to New Bark to get the items in Tojo Falls, but then kind of skipped going to Elm.
Did he do Tojo? I saw Woongi do it. I'm not sure I saw Horse go for Tojo. I mean...
okay, no, maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't, so maybe he's doing it now, yeah. I probably am getting my screens mixed up. And there we go. So, you do have to get that item from the Rising Badge before you get the Mystery Egg item. And very convenient, you get 5 Ultra Balls. Slight upgrade over the normal Pokeballs, but very much appreciated. We like our Ultra Balls here.
It is worth noting with the catch rate settings that we do play with, there is actually no difference between Ultra Balls and Pokeballs, at least as far as I'm aware.
There are not. It's just for meme's sake. Because I believe there are 13 Ultra Balls.
I believe there are 13.
With this setting,
there's more than 13 right now, Snapper.
Yes. So, it kind of gives them a buffer to get the 13 that we kind of jokingly say as winning the game. Yeah, although in this case, you would still want to get an additional 5, or additional 4.
13 Ultra Balls to summon the dragon, is that it, Snowbear?
No, it's just to have a collection of Ultra Balls. To make Monty proud. But yeah, definitely, this is a good idea. With the Rock Smash, he's gonna go check the Dark Cave items. It's always an interesting argument here to, whether you want to wait to get the the item before the Rock Smash boulders are not in the early game, because it is not in logic, so so you don't have to worry about it. But I think because it's so convenient and easy to get, a lot of people do get that item initially.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like in a race also the other thing is like if it was something important and your opponent got it and you didn't, I feel like that's the one dark room that everyone has sort of prioritizes learning. Woongi also just got the plane badge.
Oh, nice.
Because it's on Route 44.
So it was pointed out in chat that getting plane badge on Route 44 is always nice because a lot of people will hold off going to Route 44 until you have plane badge strength. But there's a lot of the time that one or more of those items are on the way that would be strength locked, on the way to the strength locked items. So just getting it right away is also something nice.
Yeah, so strength can sometimes troll a bit with its location. As for example, if it's in, say, Ice Path itself, then you do actually have to go into Ice Path without actually having it. And in some cases, it can even actually be behind a strength boulder.
Hey, the bicycle! We have a race, folks. Now, if only we could combine those bicycles to be able to bicycle on the
tandem?
water.
It's not till Gen 8 somewhere? 8, yeah, it's not
Yes,
till Gen 8.
until Gen 8. No, it's just a pipe dream. One of these days on Crystal, maybe we'll be able to bike in the water.
I think there's a
Bike
glitch where you
anywhere.
can actually. I think there is actually a glitch where you can do it in Gen 3 as well.
Regardless, it's not super relevant, as we have Horse, I believe, is in the rocket hideout.
Yeah, so he's just going to be pressing A a lot here, because these fights are going to be very easy for him.
Yeah, it's the press A simulator. So now is actually a good time to talk about a little bit of our runners. So, as we've kind of alluded to before, Horse is our runner-up from our key item random tournament back in 2020. Gosh, it's been that long. He had actually never done a item randomizer before signing up for the tournament, so he can tell he's pretty good, picking up, being really experienced with Crystal itself. I did talk to him, and he said his favorite Pokemon is Slowbro for this, so it's kind of a different choice than I think what a lot of people expect, but pretty laid back.
Yeah, and Snow, just to add to that, if I remember correctly, Horston didn't only sign up for the tournament while having never played the Key Item Randomizer. I think he got second place in the tournament while I think playing like a grand total of 10 or 11 Key Item Randomizer races. Period. That was all the ones he'd actually ever done.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Well, I'm sure he had done a couple maybe between practices after, but he hadn't done any before starting the tournament. Yeah, so it was definitely a little bit more of a wild time back there. But just because you don't do item randomizer doesn't mean you can't take other experiences, because he has been one of the long-time bingo players around, and he's always one of the favorites. He did pretty well in the Cinco Bingo tournament. One of the people to get 4-0 in his groups. But unfortunately, he did, in the bracket stage, immediately run into our runner-up from this year's tournament, Montebank, in the winner's bracket. He did climb the loser's bracket quite a bit, but definitely sort of an unlucky draw to get the Montebank as his winner's bracket draw. On the other hand, we have Woongi. He likes all the evolutions, but he says his favorite of them is Vaporeon. He's much more newer to the community, but don't let that kind of hold you back for that, because he's been very good. He's a very nice guy. Definitely has improved magnificently. He's improved quite a bit since he started. So this is definitely a very good match as is. It's just been a little bit harder because of his initial, the main struggles.
I think Snowbear, am I right in saying that Woongi might have a little bit more full item randomizer experience than Horse does? I mean, Horse hasn't done a full item, I think, recently for a while, so there was definitely a bit where he was doing them pretty frequently, I seem to recall.
Woongi definitely has a lot more full item rando experience. So you can tell that sort of a little bit more comfortable with some of the different checks that are around. I mean, this is kind of a nice thing about it, is that you don't have to have so much experience in either bingos, full items, or whatever, but you can still, with a little bit of practice, get your times down pretty well. So it's always nice to see newer faces around. So Woongi was, I don't think Woongi was around for the bingo tournament, but he's definitely been very active in the community. It's always nice to see that. So there's a little bit of note though. So Horse, you've probably seen a little bit of Horse's memes, but he is playing as the male, on Monday. That's sort of the long time shtick. The male character is actually slightly slower due to loading frames, but it's not going to make super big difference when you're playing.
Yeah. There's something in every Pokemon game for some reason that always makes the female character faster.
I think it has something with the compression rates or something like that. What
I remember is
I think the female sprite is compressed, whereas the male sprite is not compressed. So
all I remember is that someone said that the female sprite loads 1 frame faster than the male sprite does.
Yes.
So Woongi has that 1 frame edge over Horse.
So it is interesting that despite our runners taking very, very different paths, that they've kind of converged in the same locations. And that's sort of what happens with Full Item Randos, that kind of will open up for a while and then you'll be bottlenecked onto progression and then it'll open up again. So it's always interesting to kind of see what's going on. And the Horse, of course, is showing off that with the randomizer, you can easily pass that rocket grunt that turns around. As long as you just hold right as soon as you get out of the stairs. If you do bonk, unfortunately, you will fight him. But it's not too hard of a movement, and it's always good to see.
Yeah, and Horse also just found the SS ticket there.
Yeah,
the SS ticket obviously isn't that useful right now because he already has a way to reach North Johto since he's already in it. But there is actually one item on the boat that can be obtained.
Yes. I wouldn't expect to see him do the boat until very last checks. Even though it's not that bad of a time-wise, it is sort of out of the way, and there are usually other places you would go before. It is pointed out in chat that normally you would have to talk to the password rockets in addition after fighting them, but with the changes with the item and actually the Speed Choice Crystal in general, we've made it so you don't have to talk to them right after you fight.
Yeah, because too many people have forgotten to do so, and then and if you forget to do so in Vanilla Crystal, then you have to take the Walk of Shame.
I think it's just a general good quality of life change. Of course, you still have to talk to the Murkrow though afterwards.
Yeah. And Horse is almost through Rocket Hideout. At this point, he's just finishing out the electrodes. And then after that, I would assume he'll probably do Price.
Yeah. Looks like you are required to finish the rockets. I know you generally like to skip this part.
I might sometimes do it. Was that? I didn't quite see it. That was one of the cards?
It was the expansion card, yes.
Expansion card, yeah. So that's one of the 3 items we need to wake the Snorlax in Vermilion City, and if we wake that Snorlax, we can get to the western part of Kanto.
Yeah, so you must wake the Snorlax in because we did randomize the Pokegear and all its cards in. The machine part itself is not a strictly required item, so it kind of changed out how things are, but also made it a little bit harder to get the level 50s super early. I mean, we generally try to avoid some of getting too high levels too quickly, too high level mains being super relatively accessible. That's why we have in these logic settings nerfed Ho-Oh to be level 40 instead of the normal level 60 because we took it off of being E4 locked. in the vanilla game, you are required to defeat E4 and have all 3 legendary beasts. So we didn't like that, so we changed it to just being able to have the clear bell and the rainbow wing, which I guess you were saying that the rainbow wing actually itself didn't have a function before, but we gave it that function of allowing to climb the stairs.
The game tells you it's used to climb the stairs. It doesn't actually. Nothing to worry about.
But yeah, Venusaur learning drill deck was pretty big.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and also another important setting that's in place for making it not too easy to get things early is the progressive rod setting, which ensures that the rods that whenever you pick up a fishing rod, you will always pick them up in order.
I think that was definitely one of the changes. We had different settings for the. We had some other settings in the past with the key item randomizer to prevent the super early super rod, but this strictly locks the super rod to getting 3 of the rods, which doesn't mean it can't happen very early on, but it's just extremely unlikely.
Yeah. And also, yeah, it is really nice that Horse has gotten Drill Pick, which is one of the best physical moves in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like Horse is going into Ice Path. I don't think Woongi did, so... we will find out.
I don't think so, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll find out if Strength is in a troll location.
Could be. There's still 2 items here, which is definitely worth still getting. I think if you're going to Route 44, it's always worth just going through to get the 2 items. And just a simple escape rope out.
Yeah.
So, we didn't talk about fly logic in here because we did obtain both parts of the fly early on. But we have restricted where Fly Storm Badge can be, so that it's not too far out of the way. But luckily, it was not an issue this time through.
Yeah. For those curious, the fly logic is that it will not be past Route 40 on or past Route 44. It will not be in Misty's gym. It will not be in Western Kanto.
It won't be beyond the waterfall in Tojo Falls.
It will not be beyond Tojo Falls. It will not be beyond the waterfall in Tojo Falls, and it will not require you to take the boat.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of it sounds kind of complicated, but it is general. It just kind of simplifies things before you have to do too much backtracking. So we did have Horse pick up the Rainbow Wing from the plane badge check, which I don't think Woongi has done. But on the other hand, Woongi has finally gone his Dragon Knight.
Yeah, I just saw Horse habitually go for the hidden item there. But yeah, now that Woongi has that Dragonite, it's going to be a lot easier for him, because Dragonite has a base attack stat of 134.
It does.
Which makes it the second strongest Pokemon in the game in terms of base attack, by 1 point.
I honestly don't know what the strongest one is. Actually, maybe it's Ho-Oh? I know Ho-Oh, I think, has the same.
Actually, I'm not forgetting, there might not be a 135 in Gen 2. I think T-Tar is also a 134.
Well, yes, T-Tar and Dragonite both have 134. I think Ho also has 130, but it's definitely one of the most premium attackers.
Yeah.
You just have to watch out for it. It's a very big liability of the ice types.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't have enough special defense to avoid getting one shot by those.
Well, I mean, it can. Sometimes you don't get one shot by like weaker ice moves. Ice Beam will kill you though. And like Blizzard, you're dead for sure, pretty much.
You do also have to remember that on Red, hidden power for him is always Ice type.
It's true, yes. Because Ice is the one that corresponds, for various reasons in Gen 2, that's what corresponds to Red's hidden power.
Which is kind of a little bit interesting, because you would have thought that Red's stats would be all max, but that's actually not true. Because if you were to have all stats maxed, it would not be Ice type. I believe it would be Dark type instead.
I believe Dark is traditionally the type associated with that hidden power. If you have perfect stats.
Yeah, and so I was remarking in chat that generally when you run a Dragonite, you're going to find that suddenly all the trainers have ice type moves. Kind of strange. It just seems likely, like when you're running a Pokemon that has a 4x weakness, that
Yeah,
you're
it's
going
always
to see all of them.
right.
I mean, some of it,
And they never use those moves except when you're doing it, right?
pretty much. I mean, the AI it does try to look for the attacks that generally do most damage. It just seems to be a coincidence that it happens only when you're running something 4x weak.
Okay, yeah, so Dragonite is actually the strongest.
Yeah,
in
Dragonite
the
and
two.
T-Tar have 134 attack.
And both have 4x weaknesses.
Oh, and that's Whirlpool. Ooh.
Is he gonna do it?
I mean, I would. I don't think he's been.
Yeah, I don't think he's
He
been.
has not been to Olivine yet, so he looks like he's sort of beelining his way there. Although I would hold off on super rushing it. I would just do the Lighthouse first.
No, I'd do it first. I would do it first, actually, because Lighthouse will go much faster.
Right, but then
this is your time to get in predictions on what you think the Lugia is going to be.
I'm hoping it's the legendary Chinchou.
Oh, you want to see the service? You want to see the service fish?
Always.
It will be Stab Thunderbolt. For those who don't know, service fish is Lantern.
Yeah.
And I believe we are about to see that spinning rival glitch that we talked about earlier.
Mhm. So good. So you see horse saving here before talking to this guy. If you receive the item, you will have to fight him. However, you can always, because he gives you the item first before fighting him, you can just simply reset if he were to fight him instead.
You can also actually avoid his fight if you actually, if you do not actually successfully get the item because your bag is full.
Well, right, but if he gives you a TM or a badge or an HM, you still have to find a more key item.
Horse just went and did Nugget Hedge Maze before Morty.
I mean, who's this? I mean, yeah.
It's an interesting decision. Nugget Hedge Maze is often regarded as one of the very not nice checks in this.
Yeah, but I think it's sort of irrelevant considering how strong Venusaur is.
Also, if we could get audio on Horse right now, never mind. Horse is not checking the roamers. He's not doing Morty. I'm wrong.
We should have probably had on Horse anyway, since he is in the Progress League in general.
Yeah. It looks like Horse is also about to find that bullet HM, though I doubt he'll switch.
I mean, he probably would check.
He might check it. Yeah, he has the Master Ball. It's an.
I mean,
if
anything, Whirl Islands itself is the bigger prize rather than the Lugia.
It is, because Whirl has, I think, around 10 items. And I mean, the Lugia is also just nice as a safety for red, just like in case suddenly it turns out, oh no, the lead has just like Mewtwo. It's like he is super effective, of course, on Venusaur. So like, if there's a Pokemon that can survive, then that can open up an opportunity that Horse could use to avoid having to PP stall it out.
Yes. Yeah, but as I was saying earlier, I do like that Woongi is doing Lighthouse first, just so you can do all of Cyan with the Cyanwood check in one go as well, so you wouldn't have to go back and forth. We do have the spinning rivals shown.
Turns out Horse is actually the one who's showing us it first. He's doing that.
You gotta be careful because that one in the top right, because going on the top right.
I never go this way because if you hit that one spinner, he has 6 Pokemon, and it's just massive time loss if you hit him.
I think it's generally faster to go from Cyanwood anyways. But I don't think Horse's step.
Well, he doesn't have strength, so he can't actually do any of the checks in Cyanwood yet.
I mean, you can do the secret potion check. That's the general one I would do. And what's nice is because you have Fly, that you can skip some of the the surfing of it
Yeah.
there too.
I think Horse might be planning to surf from the exit, one of the exits of World Assign Wood.
I mean, that's what
I'm not sure it's
like,
faster though.
It's just how he's chosen to do though.
Yeah.
So.
And it looks like Woongi did actually decide to do Lighthouse, so maybe he's not planning on doing.
No, I think he's gonna go do it on the way there. It's not a matter of not main switching. It's just
I know.
more sufficiently doing checks.
Yeah.
Since
for me, I actually would usually do World first though, because the thing is, that if I do that, then I can get static speed from Lighthouse.
I mean, I think it's not.
It's not much of a difference on time anyway, because like when you fly back to Olivine, you're right next to it anyway. I mean, that's just.
But
me.
You could just clear out Olivine all in one go, though.
You could.
But it looks like we've gotten strength and a bunch of items already here.
Yeah, I think I saw strength, Cascade Badge, and Lost Item. And now we'll find out if Horse is actually going to check the movie or not.
I mean, he probably will, because it's on the way to getting that one. Just
I think there's a possibility he doesn't if he's trying to go fast, though.
I mean,
because the Venusaur has a pretty good moveset.
I mean, there's no reason not to check it.
Yeah. That does not sound like a good Pokemon.
Igglybuff.
Yeah.
So unfortunately Igglybuff is a friendship evolution, so
yeah.
If you're banking on the level 60 main fetch, you'll be sorely disappointed. Oh yeah, that was the other reason that you didn't beeline it necessarily to, because we forgot that the Silver Moon was obtained from Jasmine.
Oh, yes, that would be a very good reason. In fact, Woongi hasn't actually been beelining Whirl at all this entire time. Now that you mention it, Snow. We just didn't notice because it's not on the tracker.
So Horse is saving a few steps by just flying there. Mm-hmm. Now that you've entered, once you enter the Cyanwood area itself.
It's very convenient for him though, because he just got strength, and that is actually the HM he needs to do this gym.
Yes. And it looks like Adelaide did call it from the very start.
Wow.
Did someone give him the log?
Nicely done.
What a prediction. Maybe he should have saved that. Maybe he should have saved that luck for his matches.
Well, I don't know. I think he might not want Igglybuff on Lugia in his actual match. Clearbell was also in World. I didn't notice that. So they also have Tin Tower accessible. There's a lot of items in Tin Tower.
Yeah, so unfortunately for me, it looks like we're gonna have to defeat Morty because the card key is nowhere to be seen right now.
Well,
but that still could be there's still a chance of it showing up later on.
To explain what Snowbear is talking about, so Tin Tower is kind of weird. To enter it, the thing you would expect that you need to do is defeat Morty. However, because there's a guy there that will block you. if you have not beaten the Electric Gym. However, that guy disappears if you clear the radio tower.
Well, no, the guy doesn't disappear. He disappears when you beat Morty. Actually, he's still there when you.
He does weird things. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird, but ever since I found out way long ago that I could skip that entirely doing Morty. I was always looking for ways to skip Morty.
Yeah, because Morty.
There's a few of us who are like that.
Morty is one of those slower gyms because the first trainer in his gym has 6 Pokemon, and then you have to fight 2 more trainers, 5 Pokemon. It feels like it's 6.
It feels like it's 5 because it's just enough to get the perfect rollout on.
Yeah. And then there's 2 more trainers after that, and Morty. And it's all just for 2 items. And you have to also fight the rival in Burnt Tower and release the roamers. Though with that said, fighting the rival to release the roamers will also allow our racers to get to the lower floor, which does have an item locked by strength.
But it looks like we're gonna hold off on doing any of the Tin Tower shenanigans for a little bit. Horse is on the way to Blackthorn and the rest of Ice Path and Blackthorn, because there are a lot of free. As much as there are plenty of items in Tin Tower, these are a lot more readily accessible.
Yeah, it looks a lot like Horse is playing to try to sort of just go as quickly as he can and get as many checks as he can in as little time as possible.
I mean,
which
I think
is definitely the most efficient. But
he's been avoiding
until someone does them and you lose to them, Snowbear.
I mean, there's always the gambles. I mean,
yeah, like Horse is I think is playing like very safely right now. Will he get Swag Boulder though?
No.
No, He
is gonna take the dip though into this item. Although, never mind. I would expect he does get Swag Boulder though. He's very good with his clean movement. There you go. Swag Boulder, very clean. Honestly, just first try every time, right, guys?
Right. Regarding the question being asked in chat about doing Claire is currently not available because we do not have card key.
Oh, that's right. He's not checking that item.
Just missing item? Oh, right. He's checked
it
already.
He checked it already. And congratulations, Horse, on getting your menuing ruined.
Yes.
Or you have just picked up the Pokedex.
There are actually 2 items in this game that will actually change your menuing. The first is the Pokedex, which we are normally supposed to get at the start of the game, but which obviously has been shuffled. Obviously, we don't actually need that to beat the game, but it's nice if you want to say, look up where Mewtwo is. The Pokegear, we do actually need to beat the game, though. And that will also add another entry to our menu.
But that's not a problem because it's below the Pokeball, your items menu.
It's before save, though.
But you don't need to save if you're good enough. Regardless, it's a kind of a common joke to groan when it's sort of a common occurrence to groan when you've picked up the Pokedex because it will throw off your menuing just a little bit.
Wait, what did I do there, Nate? Has Snowbear been getting like nothing but Mewtwo's lately?
No. Why would I run such a heinous thing?
Oh,
excuse me.
Well, for those who...
This is a strict no Mewtwo zone, okay?
For those who don't realize, Mewtwo is, as I mentioned earlier, I think you might have mentioned earlier, is the strongest Pokemon in Gen 2 by, like, miles. Like, even if you run it as a physical attacker, it's still one of the best Pokemon in the game. And it has a base 154 special attack stat, which is like...
With a solid 100 attack as well, so it's...
110, actually.
Yeah, so
I believe it's 110.
So regardless, it is one of the strongest Pokemon.
Yeah.
But there's some of us who actually have standards to not run such a heinous vehicle.
You mean standards like losing the race, Snowbear? Horse has just gotten Waterfall.
I believe I've won more against than you have, so...
Be careful about that. Some of us be careful about that statement. I did make this randomizer. Horse also just got Waterfall, so I'm going to make the very bold prediction here that I think he's going to do Mount Mortar after this.
Probably, yes. That it has the
Yeah,
most items
yeah, I
available
was
to
being
them.
sarcastic. That's never I was being sarcastic. Mortar is actually the most item dense area in this game. I think in total it has like 22. Though those
It's got
checks
a
are
lot of
split.
items.
Yeah, the checks are split between being several different things that are needed to get them, but if you have Surf and Waterfall, you can get everything.
Yes.
I think we see Woongi just got a Volcano Badge in Slowpoke well.
Yeah, so that's something that Horse does not have at the moment.
Yeah, and I would assume he'll probably do the Waterstone Chamber after this, which is another check that Horse hasn't done. Or not.
He's gonna hold off on doing all the chambers at once.
Ah, I see. Yeah, that's an interesting decision. So then Woongi's probably about to do Morty. So if we have audio on him, we can try to figure out what the roamers are. Not that I think anyone would main switch to them at this point, but I mean, it could be Mewtwo.
It depends on Mewtwo.
I mean, if it's Mewtwo or Zapdos, I'd do it. Because, like, I mean, with Thunderbolt, I mean, I feel like it'd be a no-brainer.
Depends on what Woongi's level is right now.
I feel like I would switch to even if Dragonite was level 50. I think I would switch to a level 40 Zapdos with Thunderbolt.
Concerning how,
Especially because like there's an
middle
Aurora
game.
PM.
I mean, I guess. Well, for me, it's more of how many badges, how many fights do you think there's left in the game? Right now, there's still quite a few fights left in the game, so that's, I think, a fair assessment. But it really depends on, where these last few badges are.
Yeah, well, I think the other thing is like there's been no no one's done any of the Kanto gyms aside from Janine yet, and like those are really some of the harder fights in the game where it really helps to have a good Pokemon. But I guess we won't find out. Wait, okay, we do.
Alright, guys. Alright, chat. What are those rumors? I know it was a little bit quiet. It's already on top of it. Wrong generation there, Kilda. I do like the crab, though. Crab. We could see... Alright, so hear me out. We could always get the crab trade.
I see. Yeah. So there's a trade. Snowbird's alluding to there is a trade in Olivine for a Krabby. And for those who don't know, traded Pokemon gain 1.5x XP, so like they become really, really strong, really fast.
I mean, the fact that we had the Rising Badge right away means that we wouldn't have to worry about obedience, which in itself is actually very bad. If you go over the obedience level, even by a level, the chances of you using moves normally drops below 50%. It's that drastic.
Yeah, I guess one question though is, does Woongi know about that trade?
I don't think he's going to be main switching. Right now, the Dragonite has plenty more stat experience, which is actually going to make a bigger difference come red.
Well,
but we do have the radio card acquired by Horse in the Waterstone Chamber.
That's
very good.
Yeah, so Horse is one item short from being able to fight the Snorlax and enter West Kanto. And also, Sniver, I'm not actually sure. I mean, because the trade XP is a lot of the XP, especially if you start at 40. I mean, it depends on how many other fights would be required.
I think at this point, it's not gonna be enough to. I don't think it's worth the time investment to trade when you've got a perfectly good main as is.
I think the Dragonite is fairly good. I mean, the Dragonite does always have its danger, so.
Look, I like to live on the danger side. I mean, generally, it's not. I mean, sometimes you just gotta do checks that are maybe seen out of, unoptimal.
I don't think Horse has done the tower yet either, so he
He's
can't
not.
do the
He's
other room.
working this right now. So
Right. Because the people were asking about why he did the Waterstone room first.
yeah, and sometimes you just want to do the quick because it's a quick check right there. I mean, it's not going to be the most trip efficient, but I mean,
in this case, it
not
paid
that
off.
bad. I mean,
well,
yes,
it may
but
pay off. We'll see. At this point, I think outside of Tin Tower, I don't think we have that many nice checks left. Or can you think of any, Snowbear?
I mean, depending on what's out there. I mean, once you get the Pokeyard, you have Viridian Hedge Maze and Route 2, which are nice, good checks. I mean, they still have Victory Road, which is actually still
That's true.
quite a few items there too. And they even have the items on Route 26 and the other side of 27 as well.
Well, the item. No, you're right, items that you can get both.
I wouldn't necessarily call Erica and Sabrina nice checks, but...
No, I wouldn't call... Yeah, I definitely wouldn't call them nice checks.
I think they're not the worst checks, but they're definitely a lot more... well, Sabrina's not that bad. Erica's a little bit more time invested.
Sabrina's not that bad unless she has a good lead. Never, you don't know. It might not. Morty might not be required. Card key could be eliteable.
Card key could be a lot of places. Honestly, it's not strictly card key required, but it is definitely more likely to be done right now.
Yeah, it is possible. It is possible to have a seed where card key isn't required, but there's like I think 4 or 5 checks in Radio Tower. And then Claire and Dragon's Den is another like 4 or 5 checks, and it just adds up. So it's the point that it's
Dragon's Den is 5 checks with Whirlpool. Yeah. Radio Tower itself is 5 checks total.
Yeah.
4 of which are locked by the card key.
Yeah, but it is very much possible. I mean, like there is a non-trivial chance that it's not required. In which case, you get to save a bunch of time because Radio Tower is long. And Claire is also long.
Yeah, they're generally boring checks to do. Just sort of tedious. Hello, we see the claws. Give him the claw.
And
give him the clampers.
He is not checking the trade.
No. Unfortunately, you do have to either catch or defeat this Suicune here. However, you can run away from the hoe at the top of the tower. It's one of those small things that I don't think everyone is totally aware of, that you don't actually have to defeat the hoe. So in previous kind of iterations, that guy right by the stairs was a check you could do early because of how
the
glitches with
it was a bug speed choice. It was a bug in speed choice.
Yes, it was a bug in speed choice.
It was not anything to do with Crystal. It was bug in the code.
Yes, but we have correctly patched that, as well as unfortunately getting the quick item check from Claire, which was also a bug in speed choice. But regardless,
Woongi just got mineral badge. He's actually doing pretty well on badges right now.
Yeah. I mean, they both of our runners have different unique badges. It's kind of a matter of time about when Woongi's can actually go do Dark Cave for Marsh badge, I believe, is where that was.
Right. And where was Radio Card again?
Radio Card was the Waterstone Chamber, which he'll probably be doing.
Yeah, he'll definitely do that one for sure.
And of course, the Volcano badge, for those who were sort of just tuning in, was in Slowpoke Well. So, Horse has not done that.
Yeah, it's a little surprising that Horse hasn't done that actually, because like a lot of people will often do that at the same time as they're checking the Waterstone Chamber.
Yes. The thing is just a matter of get around to it eventually.
Yeah. Well, but the question is like, yeah. I mean, if it's his last badge.
I mean, he'll get around to it eventually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different save points here, and entirely you've seen Woongi show off. This is one of them, just because this is kind of a long backward check, or you'd have to kind of trek backwards for it to do. There's also that one in the central pillar that you do to avoid having to, once you check it, to go all the way around again. Although it looks like he's not going to be save resetting here because he did pick up the Poke Gear.
Yeah. Let's see. And he's probably going to... Woongi hasn't done Ice Path yet, right?
No.
Okay, because he's probably... My bet is after this he'll probably do Ice Path into Route 45 and Dark Cave all in one shot. And that means he'll be able to get the West Kanto.
Looks like the Poke Gear's not lighting up on Woongi's tracker, but we'll deal with it.
Yeah. I think our tracker for this race, who I believe is Ethan26, correct?
Yes, I'm also doing a lot of tracking myself.
Yeah.
So, looks like Woongi's just going to defeat the shelter there. No, not running away. I mean, it's not much time either way, but defeating, catching, running away from the Ho is all that's triggered for the Ho chamber. That's altered from Vanilla Crystal, which requires having Ho in a party. First Pokemon in your party, I believe?
I think it's any Pokemon.
Oh, any Pokemon, but...
There are other checks in this game that are locked by Pokemon that we do enable, but they're not on this setting, mind you. Those are only really for people who want to live dangerously. But the Ho chamber, because it has a lot of checks, has been modified so that you can't get into it.
Yeah, so it prevents easy cheesing of that check, because it would not be fair if, if you randomly encounter a Ho very early on, and of course the other person was not able to find it.
Yeah, I think there's a possibility though here that Woongi actually takes the lead after this, because if he does Ice Path, and my bet is he'll be ahead of badges, and he will have access to West Kanto. He'll have access to West Kanto. Horse is also about to get it, but he doesn't have the Volcano badge yet.
Yeah, so Horse has got access to a lot of different items at the moment. Actually, he doesn't have the Poke Gear quite yet, but he will be getting it shortly.
Yeah. I think Horse has actually cleared most checks outside of West Kanto, apart from like the stuff that you generally don't want to do, like Soft Sand, Kimono Girls.
Yeah. So this is still anyone's race. That's the kind of thing. So that's always nice to see.
Yeah, Woongi's actually caught a lot up here. I think that's partly because Horse has done Nugget Hedge Maze. I don't think there was anything required there. I'm right.
No. There's not. But Horse has done also... I think Horse has done just generally a lot more of the overworld checks.
Yeah,
but,
yes.
And that's fine.
And
Level
it's,
50 Ho!
Oh, that's...
It's a little bit of different location normally it is, but
Yeah. A bit weaker
definitely
as well.
worth a Master Ball.
Yeah, I mean, Ho is a very good Pokemon. It does have a 4x weakness to Rock, but in Gen
It's got a
2,
lot of
whether...
defense.
Yeah, well, also in Gen 2, types are physical or special. Like, the moves are not physical or special. Whether it's the type of the move that determines that. And the other key thing to understand is that in Gen 2, there is no X special defense. So Dragonite, for example, can't actually do anything to try to reduce the damage it takes from Ice type moves because they're special attacks. But a Pokemon like Tyranitar or Ho-Oh can actually use an X defend to reduce the damage they might take from, say, Rock type moves or Fighting type moves.
It's also another reason why I advocate for going more special mains if you can. Just in general. Because the AI can copy your stats sometimes with Psych Up, or just use things that raise its defense like Skull Bash, Harden, Acid Armor. But there's only Amnesia for special attacks. So.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, special attackers also are guaranteed to get Surf at some point in Item Rando.
Yes, I mean, Surf Strength are both very good moves.
Yeah.
And
fact,
that with
if you
just
have
those two moves
yeah.
together, you can get perfect neutral coverage on everything. Looks like both of our runners have opted to catch the Ho.
I mean, yeah, it's a Ho, right?
Yeah, it at least can be there to soak up some damage. Ho and Lugia both have, I think, 154 special defense, so even if they're like 10 levels below, it's definitely worth having around. Horse might actually be switching to the Ho.
It is admittedly a much better Pokemon than the Venusaur, and he does still have that Aeroblast TM, which on a Ho is very powerful.
Yes.
At least I think he still has the Aeroblast TM.
Yes, he taught it.
Okay.
I think I mean, this isn't too bad of a place to main switch.
Yeah, Venusaur is a bit like...
Venusaur is a little bit more vulnerable because it is Grass type.
Yeah, and it is weaker on It is weaker on attacking stats, and Ho-Oh is very, very bulky.
We do see Rainbow Badge picked up in Victory Road by Woongi. Yeah. Very good.
Yes.
And he also picks up the red scale too.
That's unfortunate because Woongi reset that cutscene.
Yes, he would have to see that cutscene again.
He's probably not going to check that, is my bet. The red scale can be turned into Mr. Pokemon to get an item in Vanilla and CXP share. Ooh, high jump kick. The high jump kick.
Oh, I don't think he's going to teach high jump kick because he taught Surf and he has Thunderbolt already, so...
Yeah, I think if Woongi sees he has that, though, he might teach it, is my bet. Because he still has some special moves on that Dragonite.
I mean, I think it's fine to have special moves. Dragonite still has respectable special attack, too.
I mean, yes, but it has a very, very high attack stat.
I think you have to keep it in mind. While it may not be the main stat that it's going on, they have respectable enough attacks, and
yeah, Dragonite's
coverage that covers the special types generally have better coverage than physical types.
Yes, though fighting is a very good type for coverage, I would note.
Yes, absolutely. But he doesn't have... Did it have Drill Peck? I mean, he's got at least Aeroblast on.
He does not have Drill Peck. Drill Peck wasn't a TM, but he does have Aeroblast.
I mean, Aeroblast is your main physical coverage generally.
But Aeroblast is 5 PP. Or is it 10? I'm pretty sure it's 5, right?
It's 5 PP.
Yeah, it's 5. Okay.
That's all you need when it's just a coverage move.
Well, wait, but Aeroblast isn't a coverage move on Dragonite. It's the strongest move that Dragonite has.
But you're not going to be using it every fight.
Right, because it's 5 PP.
And it's a coverage move.
Snowbear, apparently we have very different definitions of coverage. But, okay. And it looks like Woongi is actually going to go check the red scale.
I mean, I think at this point it would take a lot more time to just open up a slot for a max survive that you may not even get. It's just generally better at this point, just to kind of. Our runners are both just looking for badges at this point,
Yeah.
so.
Badges,
Oh no. Okay.
almost.
I don't. I think Woongi did pick up Waterfall, which is why he's going over. Nope.
Where was Waterfall?
Oh no, Waterfall was
No, Waterfall's here, isn't it? So,
no,
yeah.
Waterfall was Dark Cave.
Yeah, well, this leads to the part of Dark Cave where it is, yes.
Yes, I guess he hasn't gone towards this party yet.
He did 44, but he didn't do Ice Path, if I remember correctly.
He hasn't gone back since Strength.
Yeah. And,
But I think
Horse
he's
had a
gonna
bit of
pick
a spin there with the Whirlpool.
It's just sometimes an extra input that's a little bit harder to
Yeah.
stop on.
Yeah, the one that I always do is the waterfalls, which is always really funny because if you haven't taught waterfall and you press A on a waterfall, your character says something basically along the lines of "Wow, it's a huge waterfall."
I mean, Whirlpool is wow. What a vicious Whirlpool! What a vicious
Yeah.
Whirlpool!
Yeah,
What? And there's also this boulder can be moved, and this tree can be cut,
yeah.
and the water looks.
I don't know.
I think the water-
I find the one for waterfall a bit more funny.
And I'm always more of a what a vicious Whirlpool person.
Mm. Yeah,
There
horse
you go.
a horse has just found Volcano Badge, so he's definitely in the lead right now.
Yeah. And I think if I remember correct, Marsh Badge was Dark Cave, I thought, or was it? Yeah, it was Dark Cave, the Rock Special Ox part, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Woongi's about to catch up though. But if he just sticks to trying to do like efficient checks at this point, he's just gonna stay behind horse.
Oh, never mind. Marsh Badge was right here. I had totally forgotten where it was.
And as I say that, horse bit's an optional.
I mean, he's still got plenty of room to play with.
Yeah.
I think in general he's got a little bit of an edge right now. Honestly, I usually don't hit this optional on the way
You usually
to the Ho chamber. I hit him on the way out.
I'll be honest in that I've never hit this. I never hit this guy, but I will sometimes hit the other guy.
Oh, the spinner. Sorry, I hit the spinner. This guy. This is not the spinner.
No,
this
that's
is
the spinner.
Yeah,
That
I
is
do
the
hit
spinner.
him.
No, I've hit the I never hit the spinner, but I do sometimes hit the static. Just 'cause if you,
Honestly, I
just
hit
like,
the spinner. Usually on the way back.
He's
So
getting
when
rid
he's
of
actually
strength.
moved a leader, I think he's gonna teach high jump kick there. I don't know if I would agree with necessarily doing that, just because it was some extra time, but you know, it's definitely understandable.
It is definitely better coverage. Like I don't think he has a move right now for like steel types. I mean, admittedly,
You got Surf.
I'm just trying to run through it. Yeah. It's really just Magneton, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
The Surf covers most steel types.
Surf does cover most steel types. Maybe he just really wants to miss and take recoil damage. Which hopefully won't happen.
I mean, it's minimal jump. I mean, what's the power on high jump kick? Jump
90.
kick, I think 75. So
I believe
okay,
it's
so
90 in this gen.
Okay, so it's still a little bit stronger than strength. And there's the waterfall gem for
Yeah. I didn't see. Horse got something on. I didn't see what it was, but I know I heard Horse get something on the lost item.
I'll be able to double check now in just a second as I have sort of a replay of that. He got TM.
Okay.
And here's
There's some sort
Sabrina.
of jingle.
Horse did, I think, technically the fastest path, which is up, down, down, up. Very easy. When I was doing it as a kid, I didn't know what to do, so I was always going up or down. But up, down, down, left is I think the technical fastest way. There's a bunch of other. There's a way with less warps, which is diagonal, diagonal, down. There's a couple of different ways to do it. I think there's up, left, down, but
so remember the key thing is just it's just to not get lost.
Well, that and not to hit an optional.
Yes. And that was a fairly quick Sabrina. And she had nothing.
Nothing important.
Yeah, at this point we're probably going to see Horse do more of the checks that actually require him to do fights. So those checks tend to be some of the slower ones.
I mean, he's still got quite a bit of things to do. I think in terms of check, Horse is still way ahead of Woongi. However, they're very close in progress, and Woongi will be picking up, I think the radio card. No, he got the radio card. I don't think there's actually anything in here. Oh, wait, no, there was a badge, I think. One badge.
I was going to say, mortar being empty is very unlikely. That's like a very rare occurrence. A lot of items here. Yeah, I mean, it does happen.
It's kind of interesting, though, that we still haven't found the basement key.
So there is actually nothing in mortar in this scene. This is the infamous debated mortar seed. There is nothing here.
Oh, it had, I mean, it had mortar basement, or had machine part.
Yeah.
So.
So, this is one note. The tournament has a setting enabled called No Vanilla Basement. So, the basement key cannot be vanilla. This is because...
Yeah, well... And beyond that, it is considered basement's not considered in logic until you have the card key as well.
Yes, that's how No Vanilla Basement works. So technically, but I should be clear. You can actually have vanilla basement key. You just won't have vanilla card key as well.
Yes.
There's an important distinction, because the key thing to understand is that if you clear radio tower before you enter the basement, there will be no rockets in the basement. Which is important because if you don't do that, there's like 10 fights.
Yeah. You can also, if you have basement key, go in there early, but before you have 7 badges, and collect... I mean, Rival is in there. However, you can collect all the items except for the item on the Director. Which is pretty good. But part of the reason why we also did this is because if
there's a lot of
that would sort of encourage you to. That would sort of be anti.
If somebody sometimes you can't control
progress.
Well, also, Snowbear, you can't control when you get 7 badges. So in some cases, it could be a little random as to if someone gets to do that early and someone doesn't.
Yeah, so it's generally more fair to have it just being out of logic early. And if you're blessed enough to be able to do it pre-7, it's actually nice to do it when you have 6 badges. Because if you do pick up a badge in there, you won't have to do as many fights, depending on which room you pick it up in. So that's always a nice thing to have.
Yeah, Woongi's turning in the mission part. Did we see Horse actually check the locations this unlocks?
No, he did not, as far as I know.
He hasn't done this yet.
Oh, but Erica has the Thunder badge.
Erica has a badge.
Looks like Ethan is very pleased with that.
That was a good call.
Erica's generally one of the later badges they tend to do.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of fights in her gym, and she's not an easy fight actually either. Though it is actually very good EXP.
Horse hasn't. Oh, did Horse pick up the item?
Horse has done. Yeah, I believe
in the gym. I don't. He must have picked it up there. Yeah. It's kind of interesting that he took that path. I think generally it's faster to kind of go around the side, since you don't have to get in the water as much. But with the fast menuing, it might not be actually slower. I think it's just definitely more efficient that if you're saving that initial machine part check to check it on the way to Misty by doing that path.
I mean, the flip side though, Snowbear, is that if you're doing Misty, that means you're doing Nugget Hedge Maze, but no one wants to do Nugget Hedge Maze. So
There's a few of them around here.
I mean, well,
Very
yeah, horses
magic
done
be
it.
specific.
Horses already done Nugget Hedge phase.
Yes.
But most people don't want to do, I think, 7 fights? Like, they say it's a certain number of fights, but then they lie about it.
No, it's 6 fights, and then the 7th guy is the Nugget guy.
Right. So it's 7 fights. One of which we usually don't do.
Yes. Yeah, so it looks like Horse is going to be turning in some of the items. I don't know if Woongi actually went back to the Pokemon Tower to get the expansion
no, he did.
card.
He did.
He did. Okay. It looks like it wasn't anything.
He did it. I think actually, he's already done it. Actually, I saw him do it. Okay, no, it is 7 fights. It wasn't optional.
No, it is 7
oh, wait. The optional 8th you mean is the rocket, right? Or
you know what? Math is hard.
Yeah, math is
on
hard.
stream. Doing math on stream is always a mistake.
Yeah,
math is
making
fun.
a very good play here, though, because he's doing Erica right now, and he is going to get rewarded for this. So that is going to keep him in the game here.
I mean, both of us still in the game as long as Red still exists and it can be a troll. Red is indeed the big equalizer.
Yeah. For those who are unaware, Red leads a level 81 Pokemon. In Vanilla, it is a Pikachu, which is not very dangerous. In Rando, there is a setting that makes all Pokemon higher than level 50 fully evolved, which means that it is usually something much scarier than a Pikachu.
Oh, okay, so Dibnix does say, they count up to 6, and then the guy's like, oh yeah, I'm right here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Right. I'm not crazy. Good.
Yeah, so this is still really anyone's game. I mean, we have the rest of West Kanto to do.
Yeah, and there's 2 badges missing. What we don't want to see is Elite. Is there are 2 checks behind? Never mind. Correction. There's 1 badge missing. Force just got Boulder badge.
Yes.
What we don't want to
Surge
see.
nonetheless.
Yeah, on Surge, Erica and Surge required. What we really don't want to see is we don't want to see the Earth badge locked behind E4, which means we don't want to see it being the vanilla Rainbow Wing check, and we don't want to see it being the vanilla SS ticket check, which is on Elm.
Yeah, with taking the Ho Chamber out of the E4 logic,
yeah,
E4 has been...
the reason that was done is because before we did that, E4 was required really frequently. And actually, on most higher settings for the randomizer that have a larger number of checks, actually that setting is not in place simply because with more checks, you are less likely to have to do E4.
Horse will likely check Route 4 because he's here.
Wait, you think that's never?
He's in Pewter City.
If I was Horse, I would go down. I would fly to Viridian, and I would go down and do Lane and then Blip.
He's fighting Brock. It's just convenient to do Route 4 from here. It's 2 fights. However, Horse will be punished though if he does Route 4 before E4 by fighting.
This is what you said, Snever. You're just hoping that Horse ends up fighting Rival 7.
Yes. I mean, that's the punishment for doing Mondays.
Yeah. For those who might not remember what Snever mentioned at the start, officially there are only 6 rival fights. Traditionally there are only 6 rival fights in Crystal, but there is a 7th rival fight if you beat the last rival fight, and then you enter the Elite Four on certain days of the week.
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Yes.
That's why it's very dangerous to do those days.
That's why it's possible that Horse might actually do E4 before Route 4.
I don't know if he's actually aware of that.
In that case, we'll get to see a very confused Horse when the rival... Because to be... The rival doesn't appear, it doesn't actually ambushes you essentially
He ambushes you right as you're about to start
Right
Elite
as you're
Four.
about to go on the stairs to the E4, he just like walks up from behind you. The fight actually, I think, is actually the exact same fight as Rival 6, though.
I don't know, but Horse did I think so was slightly unoptimal movement, hugging the left side there. Most people think that's kind of the only way to do the void fights. But if you actually go from the right side from Peloton and just go one tile to the right and all the way down, you save a few steps.
Yeah. Also, another reason why Horse isn't going to do Route 4 is he hasn't done kimonos or stop stand yet.
I mean, that doesn't stop him from doing Route 4.
Yeah, but Rival 6 has 6 Pokemon. Also, you say 2 trainers, but one of those trainers is Rival 6.
When you have a level 53 Ho with that moveset, it's irrelevant what you're fighting.
I mean, no, I disagree with that statement. If you're fighting something like, say, an Aerodactyl and it has a rock move,
Ho is going to outspeed Aerodactyl, and it can will one shot.
Snowbear, I just want you to repeat what you just said. Ho is going to outspeed Aerodactyl. Never mind, it's all moot point. Easy.
1 point. Horse is tuned into the real. It's into the real lore of this game. To Gym Rush.
I was gonna say, yeah, all the badges we were looking for were just on gym leaders. What kind of rando?
But it looks like Woongi's getting really close too.
Yeah,
but anyways,
he's probably gonna do it. Is my bet. But it is possible that Woongi might do soft sand instead.
But either way, this is actually a very fast time to go into go mode. This is
a very,
209.
very, very fast seed. Yeah, like this is a very impressive time.
I think partly this is so fast because we got access to Fly so quickly.
Fly was very early.
And there should be a couple of rare candies. Oh, he does have 5 rare candies. So he's not going to be getting any encounters.
Yeah, that is actually a very important thing to point out, actually, Snowbear. If Horse didn't use those here, and it's good that he used that, some of the levels in Mount Silver, I think in the last room specifically,
it depends on time of day.
Yeah.
If you're at nighttime, you get level 53s.
Yeah, because repels only work on Pokemon that are lower level.
Yes.
Than you. This could still be a problem for him, though, if Red leads a rock move. So there is one fortunate thing in that, as far as I'm aware, there are like no dangerous rock moves in this game that are also accurate.
I mean, yes, but there's still Ancient Power. Rock Slide is of course the strongest rock move with 75 base power.
Yeah, but Ancient Power only has 5 PP, so it's easy to stall out.
Yeah. There is no Stone Miss in this game.
There is no Stone Miss in this game, yes. Alright, so let's see. What does Red have for us today?
Oh yes, rollout could be a problem too. That is one thing.
Yeah, rollout is a very big problem if it shows up. That's a Cloister.
That's gonna die to Thunderbolt. No problem.
Yeah,
Cloister has
but
no
Horse
special
probably
defense.
wants to Blizzard. Oh boy.
Oh, does he have an X accuracy? Oh no!
He doesn't.
No! This is why Guardian's best.
You get what I was saying earlier now, Snowbird, about the fact that Horse
I
didn't
know
buy a
that, but it doesn't make the guard spec doesn't make as big of a difference though with it when you have X accuracies for that. But the bigger problem is actually this is gonna be a bigger problem
because the seed is very early. Well, because of Blizzard, you mean?
It's gonna be a bigger problem for Woongi.
Well, he can just. I hate to say it, but he can just hope the Cloister misses.
Yeah, so this is definitely why having a guard spec,
or
just slapping an X accuracy is sort of on X accuracy is very important.
Did Woongi buy X items actually? Come to think of it.
No, I think he'll have to go buy some later.
Yeah, he has to. Yeah.
But it looks like he's kind of tuned into the lore as well as he is beelining his way to Blaine.
Okay, it was a range. Yeah, so I just saw Dunix in chat saying Cloister survived a special attack, but no worries, it was a range.
Although there's a nice Blissey there now too.
Yeah, and this is where we see the fake weakness of Ho-Oh, because while it is technically weak to certain special attacking types, it has 154 special defense.
Blissey still has respectable special attack, so
It's 70.
that's why it's actually doing damage.
Yeah.
Most people are used to Blissey's weak attack being, I think it has a base 10 attack, if I remember.
I think that's, no, but
It has a
wait, what was that?
Oh no! Oh no!
What was that?
That's a
Haze?
haze.
Oh boy. So Haze is a really bad move to see on red. What Haze does is it resets all your stat boosts,
It's not all it resets
including your
that.
X items.
It doesn't reset though guard specs, thankfully.
Yes. So this is the second Pokemon now on red that Horse has had to kill before he can set up. I should also point out that the AI that red uses does actually prioritize sending out Pokemon with good moves, which means that red may have just run out of decent Pokemon.
I'm surprised Horse doesn't do
no, that's
extra
Sky Attack, I see.
defend on the Sky Attack, but
Sky Attack, if I remember right, does actually have a high crit rate.
no, that's Razor Wound.
Is it only Razor Wind? Okay.
But yes, Vanilla Charizard.
It is a vanilla Charizard. It's the 77 too. This is good. Yeah, that's gonna really hurt, but it's enough that he can survive.
Well, that's why I was gonna say usually an X defend is helpful enough.
Yeah, the one thing that
he didn't buy X defense. That's right.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, a horse has to pray. Also, he doesn't get crit here. Even if he had X defense, he would still have to pray he doesn't get crit because critical hits ignore your stat boosts.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely good. So Woongi's not that far behind. We'll see how. Although I don't know if he's got any X items, but we're gonna have to hope that
he's gonna have to.
He's able to survive some of it. Dragonite is definitely less bulky than the Ho-Oh. And in this case, it's actually going to be a lower level as well, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Well, he did take the time
if
to
he does,
put the Pikachu back into his party.
Okay, so that I don't think Horse at plus. I don't think Horse is at +6. He should be able to take out these last. Oh, that's a Dragonite.
I mean,
it does. That might not have died.
It crit mattered.
The crit may have mattered. That.
Muck has less special offense.
No,
so,
Muck has more special
defense. Oh yeah, it has more special defense. But anyways, GG for
GG
Horse.
to Horse.
GG.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a very, very, very good time.
Yeah. So his official finish time is 2:15:43. Very good. Yeah, and unfortunately, because of how the timing was, the Horse is unfortunately not going to be able to join us for an interview. But yeah, that was done before. But yeah, congratulations to Horse. He has won the he has won this match. But this is just a group stage match, so there's still a lot more to go.
Yeah.
Oh, Parasong.
Parasong. That's a good strat.
call.
That's a good strat. For those who don't know, Parasong is a move that. I actually did this in vanilla, so I do actually know what Red's AI will do. He will switch.
He will switch generally. I have done it though. That I have used Parasong, and then when he's used
sometimes he doesn't. Yeah, sometimes
he doesn't.
I know in vanilla he will not switch the Snorlax if you use. He will switch the Snorlax if you use Parasong, which is why you also use me for. Yeah. So Woongi is now, of course, finding out that the Cloyster has a stab Ice Beam.
Ice Beam, no, Blizzard.
Blizzard. Hopefully, it doesn't also have stab Ice Beam.
See, in this case, actually, so if I would.
This is good. This is great. He's so Woongi's just running out of PP because Blizzard only has 5 PP.
Yeah, so there's one more PP of Blizzard left.
Right.
Although AI
Pikachu,
doesn't always use it.
Of course, the other question is, did he buy a Pikachu? Wait, it didn't use Blizzard, didn't it?
No, it used Water Gun there.
Which means, if I'm not mistaken...
No, it still has one left. I think it just
Yeah.
sometimes when red is on the last PP of a move,
Wait.
he
Does
guard spec after one smoke screen.
does he have an exact?
I don't know. I don't think so.
That's not good because the -1 accuracy is still there.
He's just got a hit.
It can be difficult. One accuracy drop, I think, in Gen 2 puts you to 66% accuracy.
Oh, he has X accuracies.
Okay, I know. He's good. Woongi is properly prepared.
Yeah, so he's definitely doing the +6s. Hopefully, he definitely does not get hazed by that Blissey.
Yeah, he is gonna have a slightly. Well, Stubber, he'll kill the Blissey. Okay, he'll kill the Blissey. When you use an X accuracy in Gen 2, it just gives you perfect accuracy, which is important because if you miss high jump kick against Blissey, the recoil damage you take is based off the target's HP.
I thought it was based off of how much damage you would have done to them, but yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, in the case of Blissey, it just means you're dead because Blissey has about 700 HP.
A little bit of an exaggeration, but close enough.
With perfect EVs and gens that have EVs, it is actually over 700.
No! Why did he? No! No!
Wait, what did he
why?
do? Sorry, I missed it. What did he do?
He set up an extra X speed, but then he got hazed. Woongi, why? Why?
Yeah, this red is definitely given quite a bit of trouble.
Oh no!
I don't think there's anything that dangerous on this red though.
Not for him, but he's switching out the sky attack.
Yeah, but you don't want to take this hit because it's based like 140 power, and Charizard has stab, so it's like
stab, yeah. But I think he could have just killed without the setup.
Charizard's pretty fast.
Regardless, that was painful to watch. The Blissey haze.
Okay, this is looking pretty safe. Woongi's taking this very safe.
I mean, I think there's no reason not to take it safe at this point.
Well, I mean, there isn't anything that dangerous. I mean, it's not like there are no priority. Yeah. There's no priority ice move in Gen 2.
No, but he could just be exploded on.
That's true, because Explosion does have defenses before it calculates damage in Gen 2, which pretty much means it always kills you.
Yeah, it just hurt to watch him. I mean, if you're not gonna X speed, it just hurt to see him do it on the second Pokemon. That was just unfortunate that Blissey just happened to have haze.
Yeah, because he probably thought it was just safe because he's like, well, there's no way a Blissey can kill me.
Well, I think it was more that he realized he forgot to set
he probably did
on the Cloyster when it wasn't doing anything relevant.
We can ask him about it when he did it just.
Regardless, he shouldn't have any trouble with the rest of the fights.
Yeah, he shouldn't have any trouble.
Looks like the audio got cut out there a little bit towards the end. Yeah, I get he's all done now, so we'll definitely get back to it. And here he is. Welcome, Woongi.
Dan.
GG.
GG.
First question we have to ask you.
Yeah.
Seeing that Blissey use haze, first reaction.
I was like, I forgot to set up XPs and I thought, oh, it's a Blissey, it's not gonna kill me, what could possibly go wrong? And then I was like, well, I just cursed myself there.
Yeah. Rather unfortunate, but very quick seed, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty quick. My personal best, I think.
Oh, really? Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any overall thoughts on the seed? I mean, I guess running that Dragonair, it seemed like it was quite a rough ride there.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure which level it evolved. I wasn't
40.
sure if it's 40 or sooner, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep on searching for a main there, so I decided to stick with it for the time being since I had some TMs to teach it.
Yeah. Horse did find a Venusaur there
Oh.
with Thunderbolt, even though it was a TM. And then he later switched to the Hoa.
Oh, yes. On the Hoa a bit too late, so I wasn't too keen on switching at the time.
Well, he switched when he was like level 47, 48 on the Venusaur. So,
Well, I guess, yeah.
I mean, your Dragonite was pretty set though. He had saved the Aeroblast TM, so I think that made a little bit of difference.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Horse also ran the Pinsir actually, because if you'd gotten one more level on it, you would have found out that it actually learned Mega Horn.
Oh.
Yeah. But you did find that Zapdos. Although,
yeah, Zapdos
unfortunately, Powder Snow was your nemesis there on Sagely. But I guess overall, how did you feel about this race? I mean, and how you did?
This was a fairly good seed, and yeah, barring the Dragonair that I tried to run and maybe a few low percentage plays early on, I think it played out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, even though I couldn't quite finish before Horse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was still a very close race, especially towards the end. You know.
Oh yeah, that sequence was crazy.
Yeah. It looks like you both kind of read up on the lore that the gym leaders had the badges this time around.
Oh, I see. Horse went that route too.
Yeah.
I was like, no way, Horse finds out about this, but I guess I was wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I think with the initial start for you was a little bit slower, which kind of put you a little bit more on the back foot. But after that, you ended up doing quite different routes. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there? I'm not sure what else to talk about. But is there anything else that comes to your mind thinking about it from this race?
Let's see. Yeah, I guess most of the difference came down in the early game of P. I think that could have gone better, but and then there were a few other plays here and there where I thought I would hedge in some of the more out of the way checks, and it paid off a few times. Other times it didn't, but otherwise, I think this was a pretty good run for me personally.
No, absolutely, and it shows. So 222 is still a very good time.
Oh yeah. And if I didn't do a few silly things like the Kenya.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one of the interesting questions though is that so you got the Rising Badge early, and then you didn't go back directly to Elm, but then you save reset away the Mr. Pokemon's house, but then you end up having to go back there.
Yeah, I thought, oh, I have a red scale, I can get a quick check here, but then after I stepped in, I realized, alright, I reset this away a long time ago, so yeah, that was a little bit of a blip there, but
yeah. Other than that, I think it was pretty good. It was kind of interesting away though that you did reset away that Rock Smash TM. But I guess it didn't really matter since you got the Squirt Bottle kind of later and just bought a new Rock Smash anyways.
yeah. At the point, I didn't really need the Rock Smash anymore, so I thought I could just keep going along my way.
Anyways, congratulations on the finish. Kind of a rough race, but you do have, I believe you even have your next match lined up
working
already.
We're working on getting that scheduled. I'll be talking to the Horse to see if we can. Actually, no, I'm not racing Horse again. I'll be talking with my next opponent, San, for the next race.
Yeah. Anyways, well, thank you so much for joining us in this interview. Definitely give our runners a follow. If I can even do the command. And thank you again to my co-commenter ERC and the tracker Ethan for joining me for this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you
and
for setting this up, and thank you for the commentary.
we'll see you
and
next
tracking.
time.
Yeah, see you next time.
All right. Take care, everybody. And we have more matches scheduled. We had our next match is actually scheduled for 12 noon, Eastern time with Bad News Nate versus Raylan. And then at 2 o'clock we have me versus Shadowfrost. And then closing out the day we have Smitty versus Baby KO. So definitely a good amount of matches, and there's plenty more to come. So stay tuned onto the schedule, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.